What is going on, boys and girls of YouTube? So today I am bringing you a different top 5. Somewhat opinionated, so obviously a lot of it's based on facts. It's going to be a top 5 ultimates in Smite. I went over the list. We looked through all the gods, all the ultimates, all the abilities, and I came down to the best 5 ultimates, standalone ultimates. Obviously, the kits might feed into them, which I will talk about, make them a little bit better. But overall, it's a standalone ultimate. What the ultimate can do in a conquest game. Granted, yes, this will apply to your other game modes, but I thought of this under conquest. You've got gods from almost every role. I think we might be missing 1 or 2 roles actually. Now that I look at this. Anyway, we're gonna go into it. We're gonna start at number 5 and work our way down to the best ultimate in Smite. Number 1 on the list is going to be Janus. If I could find Janus. The number 1 on the list is going to be number 5 on the list is going to be Janus. Janus ultimate through space and time. First of all, it's a global ult. Literally the first thing we're seeing here. That alone, a global ult in a game where rotations and everything are so heavy are going to be able to change the game. Period. Done. On top of that, you've got 700 damage at max rank plus 75% scaling. You have 100% scaling if you are going greater than 800, the distance of 800 fucking units, whatever it is. Granted, it's on a longer cooldown, 110 seconds, but this guy's building CDR, so that's not something that is ever going to negatively impact him. You're able to move the whole team with this ultimate. You're able to dive, you're able to rotate, you're able to disengage. There are very few ultimates that have that much utility while also pumping out 700 damage plus the potential of, say, another 600-700 damage coming out of your basic scaling. On top of your basic scaling, as I said, it's standalone. That alone has a fuck ton of damage, right? You're pumping out 1400 potential damage from an insane amount of range, can hit multiple people, can move your team around, increase the speed of everybody. That alone is going to make that one of the best ultimates in the game. Then pair it up with the 15% scaling off the passive, pair it up with the 60% scaling off of your 3. Good fucking luck. That extra 100% turns into an extra 175%, which means you're roughly doing somewhere in the 2000 damage range at late game. On top of pots, full build, fire giants, all of that, you could be pumping out bigger ults, even bigger ults. You have an ultimate that can go across the entire map, cut the whole map down, can move your team through it, can hit people for over 2000 damage, can steal objectives, can help you dive and end games. This ultimate has been and will always be one of the best ultimates in the game. It's one of the few global ultimates that truly affects every player on your team in a positive way, whether it be for engaging or disengaging. Sure, you've got that random moment where someone goes through a portal on accident. Shit happens, but compare that to, say, like a new ult, which is doing damage, but it's somewhat avoidable damage in a way. I mean, it's not really avoidable, like you can't dodge it, but it's damage that isn't going to super impact the fight. And this damage, even if it doesn't impact the fight, it's going to impact your team, making it number 5 on our list of top 5 ultimate. Number 4 on the list is probably one that most of you might want to argue a little bit, I'd assume, just because the type of people you are. Darkest of Nights on Shiva. Shiva has our number 4 top 5 ultimates in Smite. If you don't know what the ultimate does, it is a 3-second shroud. It gives the Shiva 60% movement speed. It gives him increased range on auto attacks, going up to 40 feet. It has a stun duration if you're moving during the end of this ultimate. But the main point of this ultimate, and the main reason this ultimate is so freaking insane, it's 3 seconds of the other team not being able to see. They can see a little bit around them, but essentially in a team fight, they cannot see. If you're using this ultimate at the correct time, which everyone that's playing this god should be able to do, basically means you are turning off the other fucking person's lights for 3 seconds. They can't react for 3 seconds. They can't disengage if you are already in the middle of a fight. They can't peel for their team. They can't dive your team. They can't do return damage if you're positioning correctly. This ultimate, for me, is and has always been one of the best ultimates in the game. He is as a god kind of fallen out because of the rest of his kit. But if you were to single take out this ultimate and throw it on any other god, it would maintain being one of the best, one of the most annoying team fight ultimates Smite has ever seen. If you play against this god, you know what I'm talking about. In a competitive setting, it is insanely hard to play into this ultimate. Easily one of the hardest things to do, one of the hardest things to recognize. You can't really play around it because the other team controls when it goes up. It is annoying as hell and one of the best ultimates in Smite, period. Number 3 on our list is another one that you guys might want to argue or might not even know about. It's going to be Honor. So Honor's ultimate is Desert Fury. Essentially, it is an ultimate that is going to do damage. It is going to give you CC immunity while also being able to move. So CC immunity on an ult is insanely valuable. Ridiculously valuable. We already know that. Being able to move at normal speed while being CC immune, also ridiculously valuable. Then add on top of the fact that this ultimate is on a 75-second cooldown. And you're just like, okay, like you're starting to understand it. Like it's on a hunter, so maybe I'm not going to look at it the same way. But then if you look at the damage, 170 damage plus 30% scaling, 8 times. Essentially late game, if you're running an ability based or a power based on her, or a mostly power based on her, let's say you're getting an extra 100 power out of your scaling. So you're doing 170 plus 100, 8 times. You're doing somewhere around 2100 damage with a CC immune ult. What does it last? I forget how long. Does it say how long it lasts? I don't think, does it actually not have a duration? This is one thing that I've always wondered about. It doesn't have an exact duration, which is strange. But I want to say it's roughly like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So, might not even be that long. Your CC immune, normal speed, doing 2100 damage, assuming you're able to hit all the spears, which you are if you're a really good player. Or you're just playing on her a lot. You should be able to hit most of your spears. 2100 damage, CC immune, normal movement speed. Ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. There is no other ultimate that's going to give you that much safety and make you that much of a threat in a single fight or a single gank or a single one-on-one. 2100 damage. The other team can't stop it. 2100 damage. That's ridiculous. That's just a rough estimate too. You might have more power, you might have a little bit less, but right around 2100 damage. If you want to go into the other abilities, you throw this up with your 1, which is going to give you the damage buff. 20% more damage. 20% more damage. That's another 400 plus damage. You could do 2600 damage with your ultimate to somebody. On a hunter who can already auto hard as fuck. An extra 2600 damage. If we're looking at raw damage on an ultimate that can also hit multiple people. That ultimate can hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. That's insane. The numbers are crazy. This is probably one of the best and most underrated ultimates Smite has ever seen, period. Done. He's gone through some buffs over the past couple months, which I think just reduced the cooldown on the ultimate. So if you're running an ability-based on her build, 2600 damage, potentially around a 40-50 second cooldown. Holy fucking shit. Holy shit. As a standalone ultimate, that just blows my mind. It makes no sense. I mean, it makes sense, but it also makes no sense. And it's crazy that he is not one of the best hunters or the best in another role, considering he has that as an ultimate. It's freaking ridiculous. Next up on our list is number 2. Well, number 2, next up on the list, however you want to look at it, is actually a mage. Another mage. Shocker. We've got 2 mages, 2 hunters. It's Baron Sammedi. Now, I've always known that this ultimate was extremely frustrating to play against, to have on the enemy team in the middle of a team fight. Even in ganks, dude. No matter what, it is frustrating as fuck. Now, while I was looking over the ultimates, I thought about his and how annoying it was, but I never really knew the numbers behind this god, which are fucking crazy. On her level, crazy. So you're going to tick max rank for 45 plus 6% of your magical power 10 times if you use the full ultimate. 10 times. If you maximize this ultimate 10 times, So you're doing 450 damage plus 60% scaling if you get it all 10 times. 60% scaling, let's just say you're a hybrid build running around 160 power. We'll just round it up to 200. So you're getting an extra 120 damage on that. Just the tick damage is going to be 570 damage. Just the tick damage. On top of that, when they hit the coffin, they're taking 380 damage plus 50% scaling. So 380 plus another 100 if we use our rough estimate. So first of all, you're doing 570. Then you're going to go ahead and do 480. Then you're doing 15% of their max health, which I never even realized this, which is ridiculous. I did not realize it did 15% of your max health on top of this other damage. Meanwhile, you're taking 35% less damage. You are CC immune. You are slower, but you are CC immune, taking 35% reduced damage. And then you can stun the target for 1.5 seconds on hit after hitting them for 570, 480, 15% of their health. In a hybrid build, that's a build where I'm saying you're only building like one or two somewhat power items. Say you're going a void stone and a health power item, another item with 130, 100 power, somewhere in there. And then you pick up a stone of binding or something. Like a freaking hybrid build is able to do that much, be that tanky, have that much CC. Granted, the fact that your ultimate is pulling people in, you can hit more than one person while pulling them in. So that tick damage could be applied to other people. What? Compare that to some of the other gods in the game, and it blows my freaking mind how this is an ultimate. We're not even looking at the rest of the abilities. We are just looking at this as a standalone ultimate. Compare it to almost every other ult in the game, and it is next to none. There's very things that are going to rival this ultimate. Literally, almost nothing is going to rival this ultimate in Smite. That is our number 2 on the list. That's our number 2. The next ultimate is a Guardian. You saw it at this previous LAN. You've seen it in game for the last year. I hate it. I can't stand it, dude. Terra is our number 1 ultimate in the game. Now we're going to go over the ability. Terra channels her inner strength into the world around her, buffing her allies and debuffing her enemies for 10 seconds. 10 seconds. How many team fights are you in that last longer than 10 seconds? Not that many. Very, very few. Even when you're chasing out, very few. Your allies gain 5% damage mitigation and protective stones that heal the ally if they are all 4 activated, as well as heal over time. So if you're around your team, you ultimate, they're going to take 5% less damage. They're going to get these 4 stones, and if you're hit 4 times, you are then going to get a heal that is going to heal you for 300 plus 30% of the gods of Terra scaling. Then it's going to give you a heal over time, which is going to hit, I believe, 20 times for 17 plus 2% scaling on each tick 20 times. So you're getting a big ass heal. You're getting a hot, which is insane. At the same time, Terra's ultimate, when it hits an enemy, they're going to take 5% more damage. They're also going to get 4 stones. And when those 4 stones are activated, if they're hit 4 times, they're going to take a burst of 400 damage plus 60% scaling. So essentially, it's a 10% damage swing in your team's favor. It is a massive heal in your team's favor, a heal over time in your team's favor, and a damage burst onto these targets. In the middle of all of that. So you put this Guardian in the game. Guardians, guard your team, right? Awesome. Great. You're giving this heal, making them tanky. Dope. Great. You're also doing this burst damage. Apply that with an item like Soul Reaver, which you're seeing in all the lands. And you have an ultimate that's hitting for, say, 500, 550 on top of 8% more than likely coming out of Soul Reaver. 8% of someone's health on a lot of these gods is a lot. You're nearing 10% on someone who could have 3k health, someone who could have 2,000, 2,500 HP, especially with the tankier builds. What? What? Like, think about the... We went over Janus ult. Awesome. Shiva ult. Annoying as fuck. On her ult. Crazy damage. Baron ult. One of the most wild utility ults in the game. And then you look at Terra, and you've got a massive range god that has an ultimate, or sorry, a melee god, a small range god that has an ultimate that has a massive range. It affects everyone in the team fight for 10 seconds, has a heal, damage, and a hot. You literally get wild range out of a Guardian. You have an insane team fight out of your Guardian that can play solo or support. And you have the potential to dive. This god can literally blink in and ult and do more in a team fight than, I want to say, half of the other Guardians in the game. That alone, just a blink ult, has the potential of doing more than any might be exaggerating, than half of the other Guardians in the game. Why? How? Where? To think that this is not one of the top 5 ults in the game, or any of you who even roughly that thought crossed your mind, is ridiculous. This is the #1 ult in the game. That is why you're seeing it at a competitive level. You're seeing it in your ranked games. I wouldn't say this is one of the most underrated ults, because I think at this point, a lot of people know that it's fucking crazy. They just don't know how crazy it is. This shit blows my mind. Like, literally looking through this, I learned some shit about how wild these ultimates are. I'm not even trolling. I actually learned some shit. Those are our top 5 ultimates. Janus, Shiva, Anhur, Baron, and Terra. Freaking crazy abilities, man. Standalone ultimates. Insane. It just blows my mind to where Smite has come, to the ultimates we had in the game back when Smite first started, to the ultimates, how in-depth and unique they are becoming. It is freaking awesome. It is awesome. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Drop a like. Hit the subscribe button, because I want 200K. I want you guys to be part of the journey to 200K. But yeah, in the comments below, let me know what other ultimates you think might have been top 5 or are top 5 or maybe top 10. Let me know. I'm interested. I'll see you all in the video later tonight.